Hi everyone, George here from Dawn Organics. Welcome back to another video. I've got Jeannie here from One Aromatherapy Co. in the UK. Hi Jeannie, how are you going?
Good evening, George. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Thanks so much for agreeing to be a part of the Soap Makers Lounge.
Thank you for your invitation. It's fabulous that you've put the Soap Makers Lounge together. It's just a huge scope around, well, globally, isn't it? Because you kind of liaise and communicate with lots of soapers.
Yes, I think that was the idea. Like, it was to create like a welcoming atmosphere, and for soap makers and like-minded people to come together and inspire each other. And of course, it's proven, like from the feedback I've gotten and other people that have actually done the interviews in the Soap Makers Lounge, they've all received really positive feedback, especially for people that are kind of starting out or wanted to start a business, or just the information that we didn't really get when we were starting out. So the whole point is to kind of have like easy access to information for soap makers like us.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you for pulling this all together.
Oh, no problem. And the reason why I reached out, I realized you followed me on Instagram a couple of months ago, but what really made me want to really have a chat with you was when I started to look at your soaps. It's actually fairly similar to the ingredients that I kind of use in my soaps, and I instantly connected with your style of soaps, how they appear, and I just fell in love. It's just got a clean, beautiful appearance to your soaps. So I really wanted to have a chat with you.
Thank you. It's nice to hear.
So yeah, what I want to ask is, so where are you located in UK?
Okay, I'm located in Wokingham, which is in Berkshire, and it's the south part of the UK. So probably about 45 minutes from London.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so how long have you been soap making?
My first time that I actually tried to make soap was about 5-6 years ago. I just kind of dabbled, and I just wanted to make a plain Castile soap. I wanted to make a round olive oil soap. And knowing nothing about soap making, I just saw a YouTube video that had a recipe, and I'm just going to go for it. And it looked like looked like a meth factory in my kitchen with the bubbles on and the marigolds on. And I scared the postman a couple of times, but I just wanted to see what it was like, and I thought I had mastered it. So I went through the whole process. I let it cure through the sponification process. Yeah. And when I was able to use it, it looked great. And like I said, I thought I had sussed it all out. But there was no bubbles, there was no this, no that. I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? So that was really my benchmark to understand how all the oils work together, how you can synchronize all the oils, what they do, what's their properties, to get that lather, to get the bubbles, to get the nourishing skin effect. And you want really good benefit. How can I use essential oils with a therapeutic medium? I qualified in aromatherapy about 10 years ago. In fact, I qualified as a holistic therapist with massage, reflexology, crystals, everything. I love all the holistic field. But aromatherapy for me has been around for a long time in the olfactory sense. It started about when I was 5. Yeah. And behind that, I had an aunt who used to work in a very prestigious store in Fifth Avenue, New York City, and that was called Bon Moteller. And that in the 50s, 60s, it was very prestigious. It was right across the street from Bergmont Goodman, next door to Tiffany's. And they used to have a small, it wasn't as large as what we have now in New York City. Yeah. But my aunt knew all the cosmetic girls and the perfumes, and she used to bring me home these beautiful perfumes. And they actually housed the first perfume designer, which was Christian Dior at the time. Yeah. So I'd be having all these beautiful scents, putting on Estee Lauder, Joy Pateau, Dior and wherever, and then going out making forts in the woods. So it was just a childhood thing. I didn't know how lucky I was. But I always love beautiful smells.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as time evolved on, and I lived in California, patchouli crossed my path. And when I was going to business school, somebody in my class had patchouli on. I said to her, "What is that?" And she goes, "Oh, it's patchouli." So I said, "What is patchouli?" She goes, "Oh, it's some oil." So I looked more into patchouli, and I had found out it's an essential oil, and that's been around for a long time, and the history of it. And I was, wow, this is really something. What other essential oils are out there? So then everything evolved from that. So I finally, qualified in aromatherapy about 10 years ago. And I evolved in holistic healing, but taking the aromatherapy side from it and I thought I wanted to mix it with another medium. I just wanted people to feel good. Yeah. Now, when lockdown came, of course, I couldn't do reflexology anymore. So then that's when everything started. That's when aromatherapy really kind of started to evolve. And then I took the bath salts. I use very high quality Westlab bath salts, and I combined them with base oils. And then I wanted to make blends that were really experienced for people, that I wanted to make them feel good. Just take some time out. You have all the minerals from the really good bath salts. You've got the base oils. You've got the essential oils, which you get through inhalation and absorption. I thought, what a perfect combination. So I designed 5 different blends of bath salts, and they've been going from strength to strength. I've launched my business last November, on the 13th of November.
Okay, wow.
I did really well for Christmas. And then early this year, I went back into soaps. Now, all this time, I would say for the last 3 years, I've been studying soap making. I've been following everybody and everyone on YouTube, and that's how I found you.
Oh.
I found you through Ellie.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you,
the wonderful Ellie. Yes, the wonderful Ellie.
I couldn't have done it without Ellie. I couldn't have done it without you and other soap makers. It's just, they've set such a good foundation for everybody that wants to come up and try and make soaps. And it's just really worth just reading and watching and understanding, and then start out small. And then evolve your business from there.
Yeah.
So I learned all about oils do what, all about the safety procedures.
Yeah.
So from going from those Castile soaps that were hard as a rock and didn't have any bubbles to a beautiful blend that I have now is quite something. And we've got a framework here in the UK. As you know, it's quite a structured framework, and we're very the UK legislation, we've got to follow that, which is a good call, really, because we want to make sure that our soaps are safe to sell to public use, put the warnings on there and all of that. So there's a compliance framework that we have to adhere to, and that gives you really good credibility, I feel, because you've got some laws in Australia. You've got some tight laws too, don't you?
Yeah, they're fairly tight, but they're easily accessible. Like, because I know, like from our conversations, which we'll get into detail in a bit, that it's a little harder in UK compared to here when you want to start making soaps and selling them to the public. But yeah, so like what I wanted to kind of cover before we dive into that, because that's going to be a big topic. Right, so I guess from what I understood, what inspired you to start making soap was the love for aromatherapy and incorporating it into a medium, as you said.
Yes. I just wanted to create a product that was as plant-based as I could.
Yeah.
Sustainable, healthy, well-being, and just to make people feel good, just to take some time out.
Yeah.
I used to work in health spas, and people just go in there just to be and take time out for themselves, and we're running around crazy. So I just wanted to give something back, really, and very good quality.
And I always ask soap makers this, did you discover the skin benefits of handmade soap when you kind of started making your own soap? Did you realize how good it is for the skin and how it made your skin feel?
Yes, yes, especially neem. I've made an amazing neem soap with frankincense. 'Cause frankincense has as you know, it's been around for a long time, but when in Egypt a long time ago, they used to take the cloths and wrap the mummies in,
Yeah.
and they were soaked in frankincense to preserve, to protect.
Oh wow!
That's what frankincense do. And I thought the benefits of neem, because neem is a healing oil, and you take frankincense with that. I thought, what a perfect combination. Even though neem is a bit kind of earthy smelling,
Yeah.
and frankincense complements that.
Yeah.
And even when I'm making the soap and it starts to emulsify, it just comes up in this golden glow.
Oh, wow.
And it's like you just want to throw it on your skin, you know? I think over time, when you start using natural soaps
Yeah.
that don't have any sulfates, that don't have any detergents in them, that have, like I have jojoba in my neem soap, cocoa butter, shea butter, so much goodness.
Yeah.
I'm going to make smaller neem soaps soon with the same exact recipe. I'm going to put them in different molds. I'm going to have them as facial soaps.
Oh yeah.
So both soaps for the body, and then smaller ones that are easier to handle. My soaps are quite big, like the bit chunky.
I realised that. Yeah. they weigh 180 grams, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing how you can have one loaf of soap and you've made it the same, and then you cut it and it comes out at slightly different grams. So every single soap is weighed. Yeah, it's just how it is. There's no answer for it, is there? I just thought about doing that. I have a few out testing with some customers to see how they get on with it. But my family and I have been using neem soap on my face. I'm just, after a while, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I love it. It lathers, and it's a very rich, soft, silky lather. And I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love facial soaps. Because I have quite sensitive skin, so I do have a facial soap range, and I love olive oil. Like, it's just olive oil and a bit of castor oil, and it just makes the face feel really nice and clean. And it's very traditional where my parents come from for them to use pure olive oil soaps. Actually, it's actually a staple back in Lebanon, because my parents are from Lebanon, and they use the olive oil soap for everything: washing their hair, their face, their clothes, like the dishes, everything. So, and like when I look at my parents and my uncles and stuff, and they still to this day use pure olive oil soap, and you can see even though they're in their 60s and like 50s and 60s, their skin is really youthful. Like these oils have, like especially olive oil and shea butter and all these magnificent oils, they have such anti-aging benefits attached and associated with them. And when you couple it with aromatherapy, it's just like, it's amazing. Yeah, I love aromatherapy. I love essential oils. Yeah.
I love the blends that you have for yours. You're very creative in your blends.
Oh yes. I've got this skill. I don't know what it's called. Some people have mentioned it to me, but I always forget. I can smell like 10 different smells, and then I'll just sit there and think about it. I won't have to smell them again, but I'll just sit there and think about what will go with what. Oh yeah, like I can mix those two. I can mix these three, and then I just mix a really large quantity, and I'm ready to use it in a soap recipe without even testing it. And then as I'm about to pour it, like incorporate it into my soap, I smell it, and it's like, oh wow, like it complements each other really well. So I don't know what the term for it is.
You have a gift, George.
there's just something about my nose and my brain. Like if I smell different scents, I just can combine them and create something really unique. And I encourage everyone to do that. Just play around with aromatherapy. There's so many beautiful combinations you can mix together, and you can create something really unique. You know, as you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing when you smell essential oils. What you smell today may suit you, and then what you smell in a week from now, you might feel some other oil. And that's it's so personal, and that will be good for you on that day.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite something. It's quite, they're quite amazing, and that's. And understanding how they all work is a real science. I mean, I haven't gone into clinical aromatherapy, but I do look at the chemistry of essential oils and make sure that, you know, we're allowed to only use a certain percent of a certain oil. It's not straight across the board here. So you really have to know the safety of essential oils. That's really key.
Yeah. That's very true. Very good advice. Very good advice. And so where do you sell your soaps? So you have a website, and I think you mentioned you do markets as well?
Yeah, so when I thought I was going to make soap, I didn't realize that I had to build a website and understand how Shopify works. And I had to understand how QuickBooks work. I had to get an accountant. So it just evolves. You become a master of all trades, don't you? So I sell on Shopify. And I sell via Instagram. I have a link goes directly to my store. That has worked out fabulously, but you can't put your hopes and you can't rely on that method of your go-to. So I've now gone out to do, because all my soaps are vegan, I go to vegan markets, and it's absolutely amazing. I've started having clients coming back to me. I'm going to country fairs. I've been approached by other, I'm part of a UK fair network now. I'm networking in that area, and I put up pictures of my products and how my stand looks. And then they're contacting me now, which is really, really great. So you have to go little by little and get yourself out there. But I would say for people that are starting out, start out small with your friends and family, ask for feedback. And then when you feel you're in the right place, then you can start building a little bit more, and you get the confidence to do that, and you'll know when it's right. I know it was right for me, and I'm sure you knew, this is right. Let's go on and do it.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's a drive. I think it's not for everybody. Some people will make soap and they fall in love with it as a hobby. And some people make soap and they don't like it at all, and they just don't make it anymore. And then there is, like us, we make soap and we fall, head over heels, or addicted, whatever you want to call it. And you just, it's just like a driving force, and you just want to keep creating, and you want to put it out there as well. And like you said, make people happy and make people feel good with aromatherapy. And aromatherapy is a great way in helping people feel better about, themselves, and as we know, the beautiful benefits of essential oils and how it can impact our mind and mood and all these factors,
Yeah, it sure is, and the whole process is great. You must never become complacent on it, because it is such a huge safety aspect to it. But the thought and of just creating something, it's like, I made that.
I know.
And people are coming back, and they're like, and my husband likes it, Jeannie. We need some more of that soap. He loves lavender. And so I was like, really? Me? So, to look and see what you've accomplished is quite something. I have a real passion for it. I've even gotten up at 5:30 in the morning to make soap. I'm not a morning person, but there's just something about this that I'm very, very passionate about.
Yeah.
I'll make the soaps in the morning. At lunchtime, I'll go to the post office and post my orders,
Yeah.
and then the next lot come in. So, yeah, I'm trying to keep up with it all, but it's great. It's one of the best things I've ever done. Your kids leave home, and now I'm busier than ever. So
Yeah. Well, it's good to remain busy. It's good for the soul, especially if it's something you're creating. It's very good. It's very
yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I've sometimes, like, I'll go to bed 9 p.m. and I'll wake up 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, I can't go back to sleep. I really need to try this soap recipe, so I'll do like midnight 1 a.m. Yeah. Or Ellie, recently I'll actually share this because it's so funny. I was supposed to give myself a couple of days off last week, and because I was really overwhelmed, I had a really busy week, and like with making YouTube videos. And she's like, yeah, you should take a couple of days off. And I said, yeah, I will. And then lunchtime, I just couldn't help myself. I went and started making soap, and she asked me what I was doing. And I took pictures of what I was doing and I sent it to her, and she goes, oh my God, you are so tragic. And it just made me laugh, like the way she said it. Like, I'm like, yes, I know, and I just can't help it. Like, I really wanted to have today off, but, I just got the soap bug, like, as I call it, and I just had to get up and make soap.
Yeah, I'll be doing that this weekend as well. I've got a couple of markets coming up that I've just kind of booked in. So yeah, more soaping for me. It's good. It's not no sun out today, so it's a good day to do that.
Right. Well, I hear that London doesn't get much sun. Is that a myth or is that true?
Well, when people say to me, "You've left California to move to England," that's because of the weather. I love it there. No, it doesn't. But I have to say, when the sun's out, you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It is beautiful. It's had an extraordinary heat wave that was over 30 degrees.
Okay.
And it's hot. It's really, really hot. It's nice hot. It's nice to be near the beach, not too far, not close enough, but yeah, it does get hot.
Right. And since you touched base on it before, some of the challenges you kind of faced, and I really wasn't aware of the challenges up until recently. When you want to sell soap, I think in Europe in general and in the UK, what are some of the challenges that you faced when creating your products and wanting to get them out to the public and start selling them?
Yeah, you can't just make the soaps and rock up to the public and sell. You have to know what you're doing. So you need to go towards this UK compliance legislation that we have, and your formulations need to be tested. So you do your homework, you understand what kind of oils you want to do, and you know what you want to look like. Your soaping should be unique and it should be for you.
Yeah.
I'm very, as you know, my soap is just kind of minimalistic looking, and I'm block color, and I have a few clays in there for coloring and stuff. So you need to send, when you've mastered exactly what you want, you have to send off to safety assessors, so chemists in this country. There's quite a few of them that will do the safety assessment for you. And they're tested by these chemists, and they're not looking at your blend to say, oh, this looks really great, Jeannie, that you'll do well. They don't care about that. They just want to make sure that the formulation you have is safe and there's the right amount of percentages of essential oils, and they will say, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to follow that. And that is how it is here. It's a framework. Yeah. At the end of the day, we need to have a safety to sell certificate, which is called Cosmetic Product Safety Report, and you keep that. We have a UK portal that we need to upload all this information to, and we also need to upload pictures of our labels. They need to be label compliant, So you really need to educate yourself and studying. So it's not just the recipe, it's so much after that, understanding the whole process, because there is something out there that we need to follow. Bit strict, kind of expensive, but give yourself credibility. Oh, it's distortionate, but it is what it is. But it just gives you credibility to sell your product. And once you get that done, then you can go out like I have, and many other soapers, and know that you're insured, you're compliant, you're safe, and you have to follow this. And then once you do that, then you start putting together a file which is called a PIF. It's a product information file, and you just need to pull your safety reports together, your formulations, your reports. You need to construct this so you have that for every single product that you make. The UK portal that we upload everything to, we have any changes, we could put that on there. Not changes in formulation, but maybe changes in your label. They've just changed that now. We can, not your formulation like I've mentioned, but if you have any changes in the wording on your label, you can just redo that. So that's they've been a bit flexible, which is great. We might want to change the color of our label or how we word things, but basically, so that's a good thing that's going on. We have material data safety sheets that we need to compile in this product information file, and you need to store it just in case you're called on one day to say, right, what have you got? Can we see everything? There's also something called a good manufacturing process. I think that everybody needs to follow. So it's like, how do you do it? How do you, from start to finish, from cleaning and anti-backing everything to, if you have any returns, what's the problem? Your batch numbers, everything needs to be structured. It's a lot of work, but you know that you've done the right thing by doing all that.
It sounds like it, because I couldn't even tell you how many times I changed my labels, wording and move things around, just to make it look neater. And I probably do it maybe once a month. So I could just imagine what a headache it might be, if I even made one little change. To go on some portal and upload it, and I'm always changing my recipes too. I'll add I've only in the last few months just started using sodium lactate. Before that, I didn't really use sodium lactate. So, and sometimes the ratios will change as well. Maybe I'll use a little bit more in this recipe and a little bit less in this recipe. So I'm always forever changing things to be better. So I can just I'm just thinking wow, imagine that I have to report on every tiny change that I'm doing, and I have more than 20 different bars of soap. And imagine, you can just imagine how many times I'll change the label for.
I know.
Gosh, wow.
My label says handcrafted in Woking and Berkshire. So if I move anywhere, if I move to London, if I move down to the beach or whatever, that's not a big change. But it's staying like that. I'm not moving at all. But I'm just saying that if I have to move, then I'll have to change my label. But the formulation for the UK, what you have on your label needs to match that report from the chemist. Everything needs to match right there. The downside of this, I feel, is if I'm at the market and somebody comes up to me and says, oh, I really would love to have this essential oil blended with this and that, and then I can turn around and say, you know what, I can make that for you. I can still say that, but then I'd have to go through the whole process of submitting a whole new recipe formulation, and that's a cost of a couple of £100 now. So
So each formulation, I think you mentioned, we talked about it before briefly. Each fee that you pay, is it 7 variations or something like that, or how does that work?
You can do. So I had submitted my soaps, and I just thought I really need to be clever about this. So I would have a base, and that was presented, but then I would have formulations after that. that same base, then I would have this essential oil, this blend, then I would have this blend, and I would have that blend. Because I really love the base that I've made. I know it's good. I've got a very high quality bar, so I like to have my soaps. I like to raise the bar on my soaps. So my formulations, how it feels on my skin, but I like that. That's a good. It's almost like a cake recipe. You've got that good recipe right there, but you're going to make a strawberry cake or a chocolate cake or a lemon one.
Yeah.
And it's all going to have is the nice nourishing benefits for your skin. All those oils really work. They synchronize well. And then the essential oils are such a, and the base oils that I use as well are such a complement with them. So I'm really, really pleased. Yeah, you just have to you do a variant, then you can save quite a bit of money on that as well. Instead of,
right.
Yeah.
So variants.
Variants.
So, what advice would you give like other soap makers, like in the UK or even anywhere? But we'll just focus on the UK because that's kind of where you're from. What advice would you kind of give, soap makers wanting to start selling?
Gosh. I don't feel I'm a real soap guru yet. I look at you and Ellie, and who else was I thinking of? Lisa Cunningham, Tree Marie, Ariane. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name. Yeah, those ladies are just amazing. I've learned just sit back and learn and watch and read and understand. First of all, the safety aspects for it. If you want to use essential oils, understand how they work, what they do, safety aspects around those essential oils. If you wish to use fragrance oils, that's your thing. Go ahead and use them. Find out some good suppliers. What oils work with what, and soon you'll find something that suits you. But it may take you a long time. Some people think, oh yeah, I've done it in 3 weeks' time. It's an expensive hobby to turn into. It's expensive, whether it's a hobby or business, and you don't want to lose any money for it. So start off small, make small batches, get some feedback from your friends and family, and do that. But never become complacent. Don't be complacent with safety at all. Like, with working with sodium hydroxide, and that goes up to 200 degrees. Learn that good manufacturing process. Make sure that it all flows together. You're covered, you're safe, you've got a good environment, it's all ventilated. It's a lot of things you have to think about. And that is learning from all these experts out there in the field. They have great styles. You need to find your own style, what works for you. Some people may not like my soaps. They might look and think, oh, they're quite not boring, but that's how I am.
I love those those style of soaps. I think they're really nice.
Yeah, they're very. I just wanted something very simple and clean. I'm not. I love some of the soaps that people make, and they've got sunsets on them, and they're great. But it's not me. That's not. I wanted. I've made something that kind of represents me, and I wanted to give people a really good experience from that. So all new soapers to understand the whole UK legislation structure, and be qualified. Join the Soapers Guild. That gives you credibility as well. And if you're a small business, make yourself known, especially to dragons out there, because this March, Theo Paphides, I was recognized and handpicked by him, which was quite an honor. So I'm not really ready to go on the den yet, but maybe one day. And get out there, get yourself known. We can never have enough soapers, can we?
Exactly.
No one ever.
And it's really important, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well. But it seems to be a consistent thing, like soap makers, especially when they start selling and they've been selling for a while, or even just a year, minimum. I find that they found their own lane, they found their own avenue. They know who their audience is. They've got their own unique look in their soaps, like as you were saying, for your soaps. If you pick, especially people that buy from you and they look at your soaps, they'll know it's yours, because if you just created a really simple, clean look to them, and the label is nice and simple and clean, and it screams eco-friendly, zero waste. So your and of course aromatherapy. So your target audience. So I couldn't stress it enough when people ask me, how do I start selling? Because that's the number one question I get in my direct messages as well on Instagram. Is how do I start selling? How's the soaping business? Is it profitable? And of course I'm honest, and I say it's not profitable for a long time. I've only started really making a profit, and I'm 3 years in. Dawn Organics turned 3 years in June 6th, and it's now sort of starting to make a profit. But before, I was for a long time just breaking even, and I'll even say even the first year and a half, I still wasn't 100% sure who my audience was. I was kind of making a lot of different recipes and seeing what stuck and see what people responded to. And then I was overthinking, I guess. I think I was overthinking too much. Mm-hmm. And I sat down and I thought, what I'm passionate in my soap making is I want it to be clean, natural colors like clays, aromatherapy based, and just focus on that and make them look pretty with different colors and swirls, and making them look a little different. And once I started really doing that, because my soaps were kind of plain, and I was in retail stores at that point as well, and people weren't really buying my stuff at the beginning. They were going to the well-known brands, so I had to reevaluate my products, and I thought, I have to actually make them stand out. I have to make them stand out from my competitors, like commercial soaps and commercial brands. And as soon as I did that, as soon as I sat down and reevaluated who my audience is, the sales just started to pick up. As soon as I turned over the old stock with the new stock, mm-hmm. everything just went upwards from there. So it's really important, who you're selling to. Your
soaps are a work of art, George.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. It hasn't been easy.
It's all trial and error, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
and then you get to your niche, and it's like, yes, I've that's how I feel now. I'm really happy, like you, where they are, and I still have a way to go. I would like to have them out in some health food shops, and just how it all evolves from there. The markets are really doing well. I absolutely never thought I'd be out in a market. I am having the best time, and I love that people are there, and they really listen, and I hope to educate them on the oils and how they work. And people go by, they stop, and the aroma just goes in the air, and their nose just pulls them over to my table. And it's great. I'm really, really excited about it, and I've got a lot of plans as well.
Yeah,
I'll take some baby steps. So I'll let this evolve for a bit, and then go out. But you can't, and definitely in doing this, you can't run before you can walk. And for all the new soapers that are starting off or looking into it, there's going to be those times. They're going to be the quiet periods, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, always. That's always going to happen. Always.
It's in every business, and you just got to keep going. Don't give up. Just keep. Always look for ways to better things. Whether it's a process, so you can't change the formulation. Maybe you can change the process, and always look for how to do things better. And from a manufacturing point of view, and then how could you be a service to someone? How could you help someone? How can you be of service to you? Or, whether it's a new customer or the soaping community, how can I help?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I have to say, I think your soaps will do really well in health food stores, because as I was saying before, my issue was all my soaps were the same color. when I first started. So they were just plain, no color. I didn't use pink clays or charcoals or anything. But in your case, you've got really nice pink bars and white and black bars and like nice colors and nice shades. And that size bar for, for what you're selling it for is it's actually a really good price. And I think people definitely in health food stores would love your soap. So yeah, I think that's really good that you're going to be reaching out to health food stores for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the feedback that I get from them and using colors in the soap, it's a bit daunting, a bit scary. It's like, use a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons depending on your batch size. But, the lavender, of course, I've used purple Brazilian clay on that, and the benefits of clay.
Yeah.
And then about blue clay, people use that blue clay for masks on their face. So mine are in soaps and putting it all over your body. And then the pink clay is the French fine pink clay, which is lovely. So, and then the activated charcoal. Actually, my activated charcoal soap and design came with an accident.
Okay.
And I just love that accident. So I did make notes. So yeah, if you're ever if anybody's ever creating something, new soapers or whatever, and you want to try something new, take notes, write your notes down. So I'm so glad I did. So I've got this vanilla color mix, and then you've got your activated charcoal, and then you're mixing them together. And I wanted something with a little bit of gold mica, because your gold mica is really crushed crystals, isn't it? So everything that I have is all plant-based in there, and it's just come out, and they're in some really unique toilets, bathrooms, whatever. So I'm really, really pleased about that.
Yeah.
And one thing I've done in my business, I wanted to do a 360, which means I've taken from, I guess, the earth. I've taken everything that's plant-based, and I'm giving them out as a healthy product. And I'm also giving back to the earth. So every time someone orders from me, I found a small card that's embedded with wildflower seeds.
Oh, wow.
So when they place an online order with me, I have a little card that they need to soak in some water, plant it in like a centimeter of dirt, whether it's on your windowsill or in your garden, yard, or it's in a field someplace, as long as it gets some sunlight. And there's 3 different types of flowers that come up, and those to encourage the bees and the butterflies. So that's my 360 on giving something back.
Wow, that's incredible. That's such a fantastic idea, very unique idea. That's great. That's excellent. Wow. And my everything I have is sustainable. I have no plastic. Yeah, great.
And my salt jars are recyclable.
Yeah.
And can be traced back to the beginning of where that jar came from.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's a good, strong sustainability message.
Yeah, so it really is zero waste, like the initiative. Yeah, it's fantastic. That's really good. Right, so I guess the next question I'd like to ask is, what's your favourite soap bar in your range that you like to make?
Because I made them with all my favorites. I have to say that the 2 top ones that I really like, I love vetiver, which is also known as the oil of tranquility.
Okay.
I just love vetiver. If I can't sleep at night, or when your mind goes 90 miles an hour, I'll get a cotton pad and put about a drop or 2 on vetiver, and I'll just inhale it, keep it on my pillow, and I can smell it in the evening. And I don't know where I go, but I go off into the best sleep ever. So I've incorporated that with rose and geranium because I wanted this soap to feel relaxed. And rose essential oil, this one is geranium rose, so it's mixed together. In the UK, we just can't put rose auto essential oils in. It has to be mixed with geranium. But rose is like a nurturing, like a caring oil. It makes you feel nurtured and loved. And geranium just really kind of for women, it just helps us. It's just a good balancer with our hormones.
Yeah.
So I love my vetiver and rose geranium, and it's got the nice French pink clay in that as well. And then I can't ignore patchouli, because patchouli has started me on my aromatherapy process.
I love patchouli.
Oh, when I come down in the morning, I can just smell patchouli, and it's blended with sweet orange. I've got the 5 times, which is 5 times.
Yeah, 5-fold, yeah.
Yeah, and then when you're working with sweet orange,
Yes.
it's like opening up a jar of oranges, just this aroma.
Really nice.
Oh, and then you blend the two together, and it is just they're a perfect match. So yeah, it has to be the vetiver rose geranium and the patchouli and sweet orange.
Very nice. All beautiful combinations. Another beautiful combination as well is patchouli, equal parts patchouli, lime distilled, and rose geranium.
Oh, how
It
beautiful.
is so fragrant, and I find patchouli is probably one of and sandalwood, but sandalwood's expensive. Patchouli is like one of those essential oils that is so fragrant and very long lasting. If you wash yourself like with a bar that's got at least 1% patchouli in it, it stays on your skin for like a couple of hours. You can still smell all the patchouli. I just love patchouli. It's such an amazing essential oil. It's beautiful.
It is. A long time ago, when maybe in the 1800s or something, when the very affluent women used to buy scarves from the Far East, if they didn't come back from the Far East smelling of the Far East in terms of maybe sandalwood, patchouli, maybe even vetiver, then they didn't want them. They needed to have those aromas on these linens to make them as part of their experience at the time. But yeah, these oils have been around for a long, long time. Lovely resins, but yeah. I have to have patchouli in there because it's like Marmite for some people. I don't know if you've heard of Marmite. Maybe you've got Vegemite from where you are.
Yeah, Vegemite. Love Vegemite. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And either you like it or you don't. My kids will say, "Oh, Mom, you're not wearing that patchouli oil again." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." I love patchouli. I just love it. Yeah, I do.
And well, speaking of, like, what's your most popular bar in your range?
Again, that would be vetiver and the rose geranium, lavender and olive.
Okay, right.
Lavender and olive. Yeah, they're up there, as well as, funny enough, the olive and avocado, because the olive and avocado has no essential oils in there. Some people don't like scents, aromas. They just want a nice, plain, healthy bar of soap.
Yeah.
So that's for them. That's for those people that prefer not to have any fragrance in case they are wearing something else. I don't want anything to impact with that.
Right. Fair enough. It's always nice to go back to a plain unscented bar. Like I always have a 90% olive oil bar sitting there in my rack in my shower. Just it's always nice to go back to basics sometimes. And you can overload the senses, at times, and you just want something that's still going to feel great on the skin and, unscented and gives you your nose a break, I guess.
Yeah, I've like you said how nourishing olive oil is.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's quite something. Yeah. And with avocado oil as well, that's an amazing fatty acids. When we eat avocados. And then we have the oil for our skin, which is our largest organ. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I did recently I just finished the last bar. I just did a test batch for myself just to see. I did 80% olive oil, 20% avocado oil. So it's a very soft bar, but it didn't lather very well. Like it was a very creamy lather, but no bubbles. But I just found it so nourishing. Like it was just incredible. Yeah, really good. Yeah, it's an amazing oil.
After you use it for a while, you could really, really feel it.
Yes.
And I don't know about your water where you are in Sydney, but where we are in Wokingham in the Thames Valley, our water is so hard.
Oh, is it?
Lots of lime in the water. So having a good bar with all these nourishing oils has really made a difference to my skin.
Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, we're lucky in Australia. I don't think, unless you're really rural, but our water's very soft. Yeah, we've got soft water here, yeah. And we generally don't have issues with hard water. So I guess we're kind of lucky in a sense here. Yeah, yeah. And what would your favorite additives be, in terms of, well, since you only use natural colors, so in terms of clays and any botanicals or essential oils, what would your 3 most favorite additives be?
My 3 most favorite additives. I have to say I really like my blue clay.
Okay, French blue.
And my rosemary poppy seeds. I have a little bit of poppy seeds in there for gentle exfoliation. It's nice to, again, use something that's plant-based to give another kind of slant on a difference in my soap range. I love working with clays. So again, they're plant-based and they're all natural. And they're mostly used on the face for facial, so why not give your body facial? Body facial. And I have a little bit of bling in my activated charcoal.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I'll show that at the end of the video. That was beautiful. That's a beautiful bar. Yeah.
That was my accident, but yeah.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Every single, I've noted my accent, so I can kind of repeat that. But every single bar is different, which is quite special. And I have a little bit of gold mica in that.
Yeah.
The thing with the using activated charcoal, you have to actually kind of wash your bar soap before you use it, because it will have a slight residue of the activated charcoal, and then after that it's just fine.
Yeah.
The benefits for the activated charcoal is just so deep cleansing, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely, I really like using in summertime here. I have oily skin in summer, so I really like using 100% coconut oil with charcoal. Yeah, and I find that with 20% superfat, I just find it gets rid of all the excess oils on my skin and helps with my oily skin, I guess. And I tend to have greasy, oily face and neck in summer as well, and I find that the charcoal with the coconut oil really keeps it at bay. Yeah, they're really amazing additives. They're really
good, and you know that they're all plant-based, which is great.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right, so we've reached the end of the video, and thanks so much for having this chat with me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you so much for your invitation. It's great to be part of the Soap Makers Lounge.
Oh, yes, thanks, thank you. And of course, now that we're connected, I'm sure we'll be in touch. And I was actually having a chat with another person, Hala from Sweet Earth Products. And what I'll do, so it's a bit far away, but I'll let viewers know, and I'll let you know as well. In about, I'll say, 2 years' time, 1.5 years, 2 years' time, I will re-interview everybody.
That'd be great.
And it's going to be just a quick 15-20 minutes, not too long, just to recap on the growth they've experienced in the last 2 years, 24 months, from kind of now, and anything else you want to share with people about your journey, and what you've learned in that time as well, and how you got to where you will be in 2 years compared to the last few years, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's good. I've got lots of plans.
Yes.
All top secret. But yeah, it'll be a slow journey, because it's baby steps. But
yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yes. Well, thanks again, and you take care, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch and chat soon.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much for today. It's been great.
No problem. Thanks so much. See you later.
See you later.